Welcome to Pidja Podcast.
Yeah, I just finished most of my finals, so now I'm just like waiting for summertime.
Right.
I got a part-time job now
Okay, where at?
at Northstorm.
Oh, okay.
It's like a ambassador type job. Yeah, just for the summer. How about y'all?
How about you, Tsega?
I mean, I have my last one tomorrow, but yeah, we've just been stressing over it. But it's all gonna be over tomorrow, so yeah.
Right.
excited
What?
for
What class?
that.
Math. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, at Nova? Yeah, I know. I feel you. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got grind.
Mhm.
Yeah. One more class, then you're done, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
You guys been watching the basketball games? The playoff games?
Have you Tsega?
Yeah.
Oh,
Might
right.
have
Okay.
it.
Yeah, no. So I was like, no, I have. I definitely have. The Lakers, Hey, Tito, I'm sorry, man, but it's our year. I've been watching it. It's our year. I said last podcast, it's coming. It's coming back home.
Dude, I watched like the first half of the Lakers and Warriors game yesterday.
Mhm.
LeBron didn't score at all the first quarter. Like, he didn't attempt a single shot, which was crazy to me.
He's letting it come to him. You know what I mean?
Oh.
He's just sitting back. Yeah, it's not because of his age. It's not because of his. It's nothing to do with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Should I put us live? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We're going live in Cheek Ni Sum. We're live. And we're back with the Persia Boys. Back with the Persia Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.
Honey, how's everyone's Persia this morning?
My Pedro is slightly mild, but still pretty good. How about you, Tsega? How's your Pedro?
Well, I think it's too hot right now for me to savor the taste, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. It'll soon cool down.
Mhm.
And then you can enjoy the summer, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get into it. But before, make sure to subscribe on all of our platforms: Spotify, YouTube, of course, Instagram. We're brand new, so please support us. Please like and share.
Yes.
We plan on bringing amazing guests like Tsega to our podcast. Tsega's are actually our first ever Pidgeot podcast guest. So, congratulations, Tsega, and thank you so much for being on.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So Tsega has
My pleasure.
Tsega has a very unique biography. Tsega was born here in the United States. Born, I think, in Baltimore, right, Tsega?
Mhm.
Right. Was born in Baltimore. And then moved to India, Munkot Shija, for how many years again, Tsega?
9.
9 years. And then he moved back to the States. And of course, there's like struggles that come with that, but also advantages that people don't really talk about, I think. So we're going to dive into that. And then Tara goes to a community college, which is unique in itself. He chose to go to community college. And then he's transferring out. So we can talk about that as well. And Tara is also the student body president at Nova Community College, representing close to 80,000 students, right, Tsega? All right, so we're going to dive into all of that this podcast. So I think a good place to start might be the beginning. So, Tsega, do you remember any of your childhood here in the States, in Baltimore?
It kind of comes in a sort of glimpse here and there, but the only memory I have of like here in America is the time when we locked ourselves in a closet. I think that's
You guys locked yourself in the closet?
it was my idea, but yeah. So like I remember like being like, oh, let's hide in this closet. Let's like take like all those like there's like a lot of luggage and stuff. Like block the door. Our parents will never find us. That's the only thing I remember.
Dude, our parents, right? So just for information, Tara and I are cousins.
Yeah,
Our parents were about to call the police, right?
they thought we were like missing. It was, oh my god. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, that's what I remember so vividly.
And then going to Gala, how was that? Living in 9 years. Tell us both like the ups and the downs.
It was mostly ups because I was lucky enough to have one of the most loving family ever. My aunt, two of my aunts, they raised me as their own, along with my grandma. I just remember every day my grandma would give me 5 rupees, to go to school. Like they would always spoil me, just they just have so much love for me, and I think that's what got me through. When I didn't really have my parents near me, and most of the struggles came from just sometimes I would just see like other kids with their parents, and it would just make me feel like you know it would just make me wonder like where's mine, like why aren't they near me, like what was the reason. Like I just there were times when I felt a little neglected, but most of the time my family in India would never make me feel that way, or never even question anything.
Mm, yeah. And
And
then how did you get through those times of neglect or loneliness?
I had a great support system. I've had like some of my best friends growing up in India, and also like I said, my loving family. My aunt would treat me as her own. She would, every day she would walk me to school. My grandma would also do that. My grandma would always give me like candies or whatever she has to like make me feel less neglected.
So if you're so grateful for your family, why don't you go to India, huh? To visit, huh?
Well,
Dun dun dun. That's
why would you say that? I just haven't had time because
Yeah.
of
that's
college,
respectable.
work,
Yeah.
and that's something I really want to do. I'm just waiting for the right time, and so far I just don't think it's come yet.
That's respectable. Yeah.
Yeah. And then um w- tell us about a memory in Gara. So we spoke in general about the ups and downs, but give us a memory of um something good that happened in Gara.
Mhm.
Give us a specific memory.
Wait, I need a second.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, take your time.
Uh,
I lived in Gara for 2 years in Missouri. Um, but my favorite times was during winter break because in Gara our winter breaks are the longer breaks, right? Our winter breaks are about like a month or two. Um, and during that time, I would come to you, Shija. And those were my special times. I when I was young, I loved Tsega. Not as much anymore, but when I was young, I loved Tsega. I adored him so much. Um, so really like spending time with him in Yara, someone who's close to my age,
Hmm.
I felt there was a special bond. I tried doing everything with him, and I think he got annoyed at sometimes. Um, yeah, so that's one special memory that I had when I lived in
Hmm.
Missouri, and in Yara, like similar to Tao, away from parents.
Hmm.
Yeah.
a memory just popped up to me, but then now it's gone because you said all that. So I'm just like my mind went somewhere else.
Come on, Tito.
Come
Damn.
on. Uh, um, God, I still need to think.
No worries. We can.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Oh, okay.
It'll come. It'll come. Wait, Tito, you said you guys have winter break for like 2 months in Gaga?
Yeah. So our summer breaks are. I don't think they're that long, but our winter breaks were much longer. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
And that your family's from Gala too, right? Or you?
Yeah, my dad is from Belagrubi, and then my mom is from Damsala.
Mm,
And they met in Damsala like in the 90s and 80s, back when my dad was up there and my mom was teaching. So that's like what
mm,
kind of way they met. But I was born and raised in America, and I've only been back like 2 or 3 times,
mm.
like in early 2010s. I haven't been back since like 2014.
Maybe you.
But I want to. I want to go.
Yeah. Maybe you can tell us about a fond memory you have and a negative memory you have about going to India.
In Gaga?
Yeah.
Okay, so fond memory, I would say like back in 2014 when I went back to Belakobi. That was like my first time going there in like 8 years since I was like a little kid. And in 2014, I was like 13, 14. So I was able to remember like a lot more. A fond memory I had was riding like a moped across like the Belagubi, like fields and like just looking out and like seeing like all the grass, and it's like a nice summer day. Um, and I got addicted to that moped. I'm not gonna lie. Like every time like I had free time back then, because there was no Instagram, there was no social media, so there's nothing to do but just live. So you had the moped. I would go outside the house, like the little small roads, go to the countryside, ride it, look around, come back, like doing that. That's a very fond memory I have. And there was like a big lake by my camp in Belgaby, so like riding it past the lake and seeing like the lake and like all the people too. Um, a bad memory, I would say, like one time on the moped, I had my aunt on the back, and I was coming back. I'm about to expose myself, but I was coming back from the market, and I hit the side of the road, and the moped tipped over. And then aunt bought some like rice, so all the rice spilled, and I had to go get new rice. And they yelled at me for like a good 2 3 weeks after that for that. But yeah, safe to say, my aunt is still thinking about that. So that's a bad memory. Yeah.
So you got a similar story, I know.
It was like, I don't know. It was a traumatic moment. Um,
No, we all have traumatic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like what I remember was, I finally learned how to drive, like, the moped. And so
Oh,
there
yeah.
was no Wi-Fi in India, right? So we had to like drive all the way to this like different place. And so I took the moped, like I was driving. It was fine, but on my way back, there was a drunk person, just crashed into me. I was bleeding from like my entire hand was just bloody. It was terrible. But yeah, I was so worried because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get yelled at because I broke my aunt's moped. But no, they were just more concerned about me. But yeah, that was
Oh, real.
traumatic, terrible. They just like hit me. I was bleeding. They just drove away, like left me on the streets. Like it was terrible.
Oh, no.
Now, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit, my favorite memory
Mhm.
was going to
Oh my
Mongot.
god.
When I was in Missouri, going to Mongot Shija, because oh my god, the food there was incredible. My
Oh yeah.
schedule was like this:
Mm.
I wake up in the morning, go to a gomba, all right, 꼬락하시스 gyap, right, shunde disco, try to gom gyashing. Um, I did my fake meditation, whatever, then because I didn't know how to meditate when I was younger. I just close my eyes and imagine like all these gods fighting evil, whatever. I had a vivid imagination. But then lunchtime, I would go out to a restaurant. Then I would go grab ice cream. And after ice cream, I would go grab luffing, maybe once or twice a day. Then I get corn. They roast corn and they put like masala on it, like chat masala and stuff. Like oh
Mhm.
my god, it's so good. There was up to a point where I ate so much luffing, the auntie who was selling it stopped selling it to me because she was concerned for my health. She was like, "Tidub, di mas luffing mangbusin na yakbo yung martalan." Right? Do you remember that, Tara?
She cut off the
She
supply?
cut off the
Yeah.
supply, bro. That's when you know it got
Oh
bad.
no. Oh no.
But the week that I was the week before I was supposed to leave, she came to our house and made loving in our house, right? Which was so nice of her.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's nice. Yeah, that's nice.
but
That's a real one.
yeah, that's coming to so you lived in Ga for 9 years. Then you came to Ari, Virginia, right? Northern Virginia. When you were how old again?
12, 13,
12, 13. So you were in like sixth grade, seventh grade.
7th.
Yeah. And could you tell us about that transition?
It was a little rough, saying goodbye to all my old friends and having to do all that all over again. And especially in a country where I wasn't fluent, in the language either. So
Mhm.
it was tough transitioning from that. But, my way of kind of bettering myself so I can fit in was just reading a lot of books. I would go to the library every day, pick up books and read it just to improve my English so I can, talk to people better, so I can communicate with my friends that I've made here. And yeah, and I like when I first came here, like I would cry every day because I just missed my family so much, and like I had so many like all these feelings like, oh, I should have been better, I should have done this better, I should have done that better, like, to make their lives easier, things like that. So it just, yeah, it was a little rough,
Mhm.
but now I'm better.
What do you mean by better? Can you give us an example?
No, my niece, her name is Choang. So, we would fight a lot. So I just like, always think to myself, oh, we shouldn't have fought more. We should have gotten along when we had the time. I should have taken care of her better, things like that. It would just like pop up in my head sometimes. Or like I shouldn't have talked back to my aunt or talked back to my grandma. Sometimes like, they just pop up after like, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. Um. So there's so one struggle was that you missed your family a lot, and you felt a type of regret a little bit that you didn't, um, s- spend as much time with them or spend as good as the time with them as you could have.
Mhm.
But were there any other challenges as far as the transition coming from Ya to here? You talked about speaking English and how you tried to improve your English through reading books every day. Um, or were there any other challenges? And like, what's one specific book that you really like? Because here at Pija, we love our books. We have a whole segment called Pija Books that they could talk about
Yep.
more too.
I feel like I shouldn't talk about books because back then what I was reading, it's not really like I was reading books like that had movies. But I mean, right now I really like Ocean Wong. Um he's a Vietnamese writer who I just really relate to. But yeah, I've been reading a lot of him. But back then it was like
Mhm.
like Twilight books. So
Oh,
Twilight.
yeah.
Twilight.
Are you Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Yeah, big question.
Hmm. Honestly, Edward.
Edward.
Yeah.
Same.
Hmm.
Yeah. Why? Why Edward over
Jacob.
Jacob?
I don't know. I just prefer mysterious.
Mhm. Yeah. And then um, there's a lot of disadvantages when you transition, when you make such a big move in life. What do you think living in India for 9 years has taught you that you feel like is unique to you that um, helps you be better suited to and prepared for life, not just school, but prepared for life than other kids your age?
I learned a lot about the power of, you know, family and friends support. And I also learned a lot about resilience, also, I just, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. Um,
No, that was good though. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think I just learned a lot about myself, who I am as a person, just, going back to my roots, learning about my culture, with all the people that share the same culture as me. Just we all grew up together. We all learned the importance of education, because we would always hear like, oh, you have to study well, do well, so that you can help serve others, serve your country, serve your people. And I learned a lot about that. I also learned a lot about you know how far you can go when you have the support of your family, and how important it is to care about others. And when I came here, it really helped me, figure out who to surround myself with, when finding the right people, finding people that make you feel that way, make you want to be better, make you want to help others, make you care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I know that one thing that I learned from both of you guys, being friends with you guys, being basically brothers with both of you guys, is that the amount of love that you guys have for your amlas is like something that I try to take example with. Because like sometimes, to be honest, I'm not a very agreeable child, so I'm very disagreeable. I always like try to do the opposite of what my parents say, and that especially frustrates my mother and my amla. But you guys are both like mama boys, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
I learned I learned a lot about that, and maybe we can talk a little bit about our love for our mother, since our Mother's Day is like next week, or
oh
coming
yeah,
soon. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've always been close to my mom. I've always been a mama's boy, like since I was young. Um, I feel like it's just she's been there for me, done a lot for me, like throughout my life. Obviously, like, and then the love I have for her is like innate. It's not like tied by anything. It's just I feel like something in my heart, like when I look at her. So like obviously I'm gonna have to like like be there for her. And, like that's why. Obviously I love my dad too. I'm not saying I don't love my dad, but like yeah, because he's gonna watch. He's gonna be like, bro, what? But yeah, like definitely I feel like I have a very innate love for my mom. Like it's she just been there for me, and like obviously that matters a lot in life. It really does matter a lot in life. So
Is it my turn?
Up to you.
Okay, okay.
yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, I feel like, along with what all the things that make me really happy, I think making her proud, making my mom proud, is like one of the biggest gift I receive. Every time she says I'm proud of you, or like how seeing how happy she is that I'm doing better, I'm becoming a better person. It's just really rewarding, and I feel like I always want to do good, just to make her proud, just to make her happy, because she's made a lot of sacrifices for me. You know, it was probably a really tough decision, leaving me in India with my aunts and like away, but she knew like I would receive better care there, and like she made the sacrifice to put me there away, be away from me, and I'm really grateful for that. And she's still making sacrifices. I know that, like, coming back here, finding out like, like she didn't even have like a stable job, because she wanted to like always come visit me. And yeah, she's just had to make a lot of tough decisions for me, and I just want to make her proud. I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I felt that right now. Mm. My
Hmm.
my dream, that remind my dream would be not for my Balamla to say I'm proud of me, because that'd be nice too. But oh my god, if there's an opportunity or a chance, if Galumbache says then sirup, yabuche kanana, if he says something like that, oh my god. Then I feel like I can finally rest. You know how Thanos, he snapped through. That's a bad example, but he like
Yeah, I was like, yeah,
he,
I don't know.
he goes on his retreat. He's just like he's like all chill after that. That's how I'd
Oh yeah, I know
feel.
what you mean. Yeah, yeah,
But then,
yeah, yeah.
we have to work hard. I have to continue to work hard, because I'm a long road from that. Um, and so I love that you talked about, when you talked about culture, you talked about two things. You talked about resilience, and you talked about family. And I think that really encapsulates our Tibetan culture, our Piba culture, right? Our We are a movement of struggle. We have been struggling since 1950, right? And all of us Tibetans had to be resilient, uh,
Mhm.
including our leader Garambuche. And I really like that you talked about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and then so we talked about your middle school years. Maybe we can go a little bit into high school. How was that for you? Transitioning, was it a little bit easier? Was it tough?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was tough because in high school I didn't really. I think it's important to have some sort of goal or something you want to achieve in high school, and I didn't have that. So it just felt like what was I doing all this for? So I just kind of in high school wasn't like one of my proudest years, but at the same time I'm glad it happened because I wouldn't be who I am without that. But yeah, because of the lack of having a goal, I also didn't have as much of a passion for high school either.
Mm.
And yeah, it was a little rough, not just on me, but also on my family because them seeing me struggle was also yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it wasn't good.
Yeah. I know that high school was a little bit rough for you. It was a little rough for me too. Uh,
Mhm.
but I think we both and you and I have talked about this. Like we wouldn't have traded for anything else because it taught us resilience. Again, it's like through stress that you learn and grow. Uh, so yeah, I know that that was a little challenging for you. But you talked about goal.
Mhm.
Oh, what's have you found that yet? And what is it?
Mm.
I still struggle with what knowing what I want to do specifically. All I know is that I don't want a normal life. I just want my life to be meaningful, and I want to serve others and help people. I know that. I still don't know what I want to do specifically. I'm always like every day I'm trying to figure it out. Every day I'm doing work that kind of matches my purpose in life. But yeah.
Well, your purpose is to help others and serve others. Very, very Tibetan of you.
Mhm.
And then you said normal life. You say you don't want a normal life. What do you mean by that?
I think what I mean by it is that I just want to. I don't want to just settle. I want to do something with my life. I know that I just want to make a difference in the world. I want to leave something behind when I yeah
Mhm. Yeah.
When you die,
yeah.
when you pass
I
away.
don't know if you're like allowed to say it on here, so
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, you
all
can
right.
curse if you
Yeah.
want to. It's
Yep.
still a family friendly podcast, but
All right.
whatever whatever feels genuine to you, just express that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but I appreciate it. So middle school, high school was a little bit tough for you, but then I think college is when you've told me that you really blossomed. So maybe you could talk about you chose to go to a community college of all colleges, right?
Mhm.
There's social stigma that comes to that. There like I went to a community college too. We both went to the same community college.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, and Yunde went 1 year. So all three of us went to a community college for
Went to the same one actually.
yeah. So Yunde went to a community college for 1 year. We went to community colleges for 2 years. There's a social stigma that comes with that, and like maybe your parents aren't some of our parents might be happy that they're saving money, but then some other parents are, because of that social stigma, they might be against it. Um, yeah, Yunde, feel free to jump in too, but you know,
Mhm.
uh, well, what was college like? Specifically, what was going to community college like?
Going to a community college was kind of like my second chance because as I said earlier, high school years weren't so great. So college was kind of like my second chance to, improve myself, find out who I am, what I want to do with life. And yeah, I took that chance. I did everything I could to make sure, I can become a better person, become a better version of myself. And seeing you guys going to community colleges and seeing how much it benefited you guys was also, something that inspired me as well. I started my own club there, Asian Student
Mhm.
Association. I also, became a part of student government, and then eventually ran for president. It was such an amazing, incredible experience.
Mm. Yeah, for me it was very similar. Like my 1 year in Nova, I had like obviously like same kind of thing. Like high school, it was rough for me. Like I definitely found my footing there, getting surrounded with the right people, joining the Man Up mentorship program there, finding a mentor and Mr. Rizwan Rahman. Like that was a very like turning point in my life for sure in terms of just like getting my head right and like getting my future plans lined out because that's very important instead of just jumping all around. Um, but yeah, like I definitely think that even though there is a social stigma, like it's 100% a beautiful way to move forward in life because you save money, you get to be around your parents. It's very important. Like you get to do what you want to do and make sure like you can get the work done in a timely manner. Because if you're in like regular college, like freshman year, you could be distracted. It's very true. Like there's a lot of distractions freshman year in a lot of colleges. But at community college, you can really buckle down and like get stuff done if you set your mind to it. So yeah, 100%, I agree with you there.
And then, I think you said that you had a few questions to ask him, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. So Tsega, obviously you feel free. It's an open convo. Say whatever. So first question is, um, what were your motivations to become president, and who are some of the key people that helped you with your campaign?
Um, I think my biggest motivation was to. Uh, it was the same reason why I loved Nova, why partially why I chose to go to Nova. It was
Mm-hmm.
because a lot of the students there are just like me, first generation, coming from a low income family, so I just thought about all the things that I wish I had. So I just wanted to make sure that other people don't go through that, and I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
run for president and help out as much as I could, serve my community, and yeah, that was my biggest motivation, along with just me seeing Sido right here, like everything he did. It was very inspiring, and I
Mm-hmm.
knew that like that's also something I wanted to do as well. Just seeing him like work so hard, yeah, it was really inspiring to me. And um, the main people that helped me with my campaigning was Tirup, and also my ASA group. Especially
Uh-huh.
there's this girl named Caitlin. She's my friend, but yeah, she helped me like design all the posters. Like I had like little stickers made that she helped with. Yeah, and
ASA stands for Asian Student Association. It's the group
Mm-hmm.
that Tara started for all the listeners out there. And then,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
um, Tara, could you talk a little bit more about the campaigning process? Then I'll hand it back to Yunde. But then I just want to say that from my perspective, like I ran for the same position for Tara a year before. Right when I saw ASA, Asian Student Association, all the members help Tara rally behind Tara without even Tara asking. That to me was inspiring because he had inspired a group of Asian students. He had created a community there at Nova Community College, especially after the pandemic, especially during all the Asian hate that was going on. And I think they really
Yeah.
were heartfelt by Tara's efforts. They rallied behind him so much. They were going above and beyond for Tara, especially Caitlin, that his friend that Tara's friend that he was talking about. That was really inspiring to me, and I tell our family about that all the time. Like it was incredible how Tyler inspired them. You know, it wasn't through like some special speech that he gave that he inspired him. It was through his like
Yeah.
year long action and hard work and effort that really made him um, made them feel inspired. Like I think one of Tara's like strength as a leader is that he is so approachable. Um, you know, some people say I have a resting, face, and I'm
RBF,
not as approachable. What would you say?
That's really good.
RBF.
RBF, yeah,
RBF.
RBF. Uh,
Dude was like, bro.
and then I don't think for some reason I'm still working on this because I'm a student of leadership. I really do try to become a better leader as a brother, as a friend, as a son, as a teammate. Um,
Yeah.
but Tara is super approachable and like relatable in a way that people just
Mhm.
approach him. People just want to help him out. So Tara, could you talk a little bit about the campaigning process? How people helped you? You talked a little bit about it with Caitlin. And then I'm handing it back to you.
Yeah, so for the campaigning process, we had a week to get votes from the entire school, and yeah, we had to make flyers, we had to do debates, and then also just like walk around talking to people, getting their votes, getting their support, and one of my strategy was talking to club leaders and asking them if I can come to their clubs to present and I went to all these club meetings. Instead of like talking about myself, I just tried to ask them like, what were some concerns you guys have, and just listen to them and make notes of them so that I can, provide support if I win. So yeah, that really helped me, and also just the love and support I received from my Asian Student Association club. A lot of them, went above and beyond to, go to all these different, approach all these different students, go up to people, asking all their friends to vote for me. It was, it was unbelievable.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. So okay, so the next question is, so walk us through the typical day of being president of Nova. Like when you go into the office in the morning, and what do you do throughout the day? Like walk us through that.
So, I mean, every day I would just, go into the SG office. I would always see my members there, and they're one of the most incredible and hardworking people I know. So I was really blessed with having such a group of determined, members. And every Friday we would have these meetings. We would first, start out with, approving the agendas. We would always like that was also something that we planned, um, at least like a few days before. So yeah, we would have our agendas. We would look over everything we have on there, and then we would just like discuss them one by one. And yeah, it was such an incredible experience just
Mhm.
serving such a wonderful group of teammates. Everyone had their own strengths, and everyone really cared about Nova and really loved Nova. And I think that's really important to have. Loving Nova is
Mhm.
such an incredible, like important quality to have.
Yes, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I think, really embracing the place you're at and really having that mindset, having that positive mindset really unlocks a lot of opportunities and a lot of energy inside of you to, serve your community. Um, at Nova, there's a lot of things to complain about. Nova Community College, there's a lot of things to complain about. Here at University of Virginia, where I'm going, there's a lot of things to complain about. But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful institution, it's a beautiful campus, beautiful group of students. So I think it's really good, and strategically, it's really good to embrace where you're going. Um, I'm
Yeah.
curious, what's the biggest change that you've made, or that happened from your administration to the previous administration?
I think one of the biggest was just kind of making all these different connections with all these different resources Nova provides. We worked with Office of Mental Health. We worked with um, the international office. There's so many different offices at Nova, and we really built a solid relationship with them, so that every time whenever we need them to present or ask them questions, they're right there for us. Um, it's which is really great. We left that with the new upcoming SGA, and we also came up with the alumni outreach program where a group of alumni, we're gonna have that make that a regular thing as well. Um,
So the next question is, what was the most challenging aspect of being president, and how did you deal with it?
I think, I mean, everyone who knows Nova knows that whenever you try to do something, there's always going to be some sort of red tape around it. It's really tough to
That's true.
you know I don't know how to describe this in to someone like that doesn't really understand Nova, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of I don't
like
you can go ahead,
like
Nova.
to um in any public institution, government institution, Nova is a community college. That means that we're a public institution. We get a lot of our funding from the state of Virginia. But regardless, any institution, public institution, has so much red tape and bureaucracy because it's public money, taxpayer money. So
Mhm.
there's so many restrictions. Um, I think that's what you were talking about, Teva.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, and you got like find creative ways to get around the policies because all of the policies that Tara and your group were introducing, I'm sure they were well intentioned. Bless you, it's cheating. Uh,
Oh, sorry, sorry.
thank you.
were well intentioned, but then there's so many red tape to protect public interest that it slows down um, the rate of progress and the rate of improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the fourth question is, what's your philosophy for leadership, and how did you use it during your administration?
I think the most important philosophy or like to have is creating bonds with your people. So I would always talk to people one on one, get to know them and also let them get to know me as well, because I think it's important to build trust. You can't really, it's harder to kind of lead people that don't trust you or feel like they don't know you as well. So I'm always very transparent. I like to talk to people. I like to get to know them, and I think it makes them feel included as well. So it's really important to create bonds, but it's also important to know how to like separate like, being friends with them and also like, being their leader. I think it's important to like kind of like separate those two. There's time and place. So I've kind of had to, even though I want great, I want trust between us, I want bonds and all that. I also try to set boundaries, during meetings and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Did we have anything to add?
Um, no.
Okay. So the next question is, and final question, do you have any shout outs for any key mentors or faculty who helped you in your administration? I know you talked about the relationships that you were building with the officers and everything. So do you have any shout outs for any key mentors or faculty?
Um, yeah, I had some of the best teachers here at Nova. They were incredible. Along with that, my Asian Student Association team, my SGA team, and also we have an AAPI Connect program where there's a mentorship program for Asian American Pacific Islander students,
Mhm.
where I currently work at, which is also a really great experience. So shout out to them as well, and also my family, my cousin. They really helped me a lot, especially my cousin. We have I still like to believe we have a really special bond, and
Who? You and me?
yeah.
So
Wow.
why you
Okay.
say that,
Fine.
bro?
Not anymore.
No, I'm just clarifying. I'm just clarifying.
I'm playing. I'm playing.
But yeah. Along with like making my mom proud, I want to make him proud as well. And yeah,
Sweet.
You want to make me
Yeah, it's
proud?
all.
I mean, yeah,
I'm already proud, bro. I'm already proud. Like
thank you.
Uh,
just seeing how hard you work, not just for yourself, but for the people around you, and that you're motivated by the people around you. It makes me proud. Um, and I'm proud that all of your hard work has um, benefits as well. You maybe you want to talk a little bit about like what's next for you because you're involved in so many different things as well, right? Right now, you're also involved in like SFT Students for Free Tibet, DMV SFT, uh, and just tell us a little bit about like what are your next steps and next plans.
Um, I mean, after finals are over, I'm gonna relax a little bit. But after that, I've some internships coming up where I'll be spending some of my time in DC, and I also am still waiting for colleges to send me their decisions. And I recently got accepted into UVA, so that's really where I'm leading towards. And you know, I just want finals to be over so I can finally just be excited about that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I can't wait to join the UVA community.
Awesome.
Great.
And then maybe like you guys both can speak about this, but specifically for our young Tibetans, um, what do you think would help encourage young Tibetans become young Tibetan leaders, not just in the Tibetan community, but in general, in whatever community they're involved in. Uh, do you, and first, do you think, from your perspective, your opinion, young Tibetans tend towards leadership, want to be leaders? If not, why? But then, in what can you say to encourage them to become leaders and become better leaders?
Saga, you can go
Oh,
first if you
okay.
want.
I see a lot of young Tibetan leaders, especially students who do SFT. I see a lot of them, and it's really really great to see all these students, young people, putting themselves out there, fighting for their country. I think it's really inspiring, and I think it's really important to sort of just I know like everyone cares, but also to act on it, not be afraid, because in high school I was really afraid to join all these different clubs or take leadership roles because sometimes it's scary to think about, oh, like, can I do this as well? Can I, I don't have any experience, so how can I, be a good leader? So, I think it's important to realize that, it's okay to, try at least, just to, gain some experience. And also, you know, it's, you just, I don't know, because I don't like to say like they might not care, but like it's important to care because when you care, you would like when you care enough, you would push yourself into all these like different things just to like help people. And yeah, that's what happened with me. So I'm just speaking from my experience.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I also think that uh, whatever field they're in, like as long as they can excel at it and just work and be hard and be the best at what they can be, um, it'll come back and reward the Tibetan community like in a greater way too. But yeah, 100%. I think if you care enough, like you will get involved and you'll push yourself out there and you'll meet people, meet the right people, and it just grows and grows and grows from there. So
Mhm.
um, definitely on the same wavelength.
And like something that like I wish I knew earlier was that you know you gain something from failure. You learn how to do things differently. And, I've always been afraid of failing that, I stop myself from gaining all these experiences. So when I realized that I just, no matter what I do, I gain something from it. Even if I fail, it's still an experience. And I think, knowing that really helped me, push myself towards leadership as well.
Yeah, I think people are afraid of failing. But in fact, like you said, Sarah, you in fact learn a lot more from failing than you do from succeeding.
Mhm.
I think that's a beautiful spot to finish um,
Hmm.
this conversation. Thank you, Sarah, so much for being our first ever guest.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yunda, you want to wrap it up for us?
Yeah, so here on the Pedro podcast, we always wrap things up with a quote from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. So for this week, the quote is: "The ultimate authority must always rest with the individual's own reason and critical analysis," by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama.
Wow.
And be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We are on Spotify, on YouTube, and on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for the support. We've seen an outpouring of support since the first trailer, especially from family and friends. Keep sharing it, and we really appreciate every single one of you. So,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
our pleasure.
Pedro out.
Good job.